It's your friendly neighborhood soup lady here, Caroline Wright, and I'm here to teach you my minestrone invernale soup from my Soup Club cookbook. It's a really fun winter soup. It has a bunch of really delicious things in it. A small bunch of lacinato kale, also called dinosaur kale or Tuscan kale, Swiss chard, and I use the stems and the leaves, and a small head of radicchio, two inner stalks of celery. What I mean by that, this is like the core of the celery. So two of these, and two carrots, two heads garlic, which we actually roast at the beginning of the recipe. 4 sprigs of rosemary, which I just got out in the front of my yard because it's Seattle and it grows everywhere. Some rotini pasta, which you can use traditional. I happen to use, this is chickpea pasta, which I love. Some Dijon mustard that goes in the beginning, and a cup of soaked overnight pinto beans or cranberry beans, and a small can of diced tomatoes. It's really simple. First, we're going to start off with the roasting of the garlic. If you can see, I just had a rectangle of foil that I folded over on itself. I cut the top quarter, about the top 1/4 inch of the garlic right about there. And then I put a sprig of rosemary on top, drizzle it with some olive oil, season it with some salt and pepper, and I folded it, the foil over, crimped it around on the edges, popped it in the oven, and this is what you get. You get these nice, creamy, roasted cloves. I mean, it's delicious spread on toast. It's just delicious in general, but we're going to use it as the flavor base of our soup. And even though I am holding it like this, it is quite warm. So you can also do it in advance. And so all you do is you pull them out of their peels just like this. And you can even squeeze it. You squeeze it into a dish, you kind of mush them up, and that's how they go into the beginning of the soup. So this soup starts the way most of my soups start, with some olive oil that we're heating in this nice warm pan. And so here I have the onion I mentioned, the carrot I mentioned, and the inner cores of the celery all chopped up, but you get these nice leaves, which adds a fresh little note to the soup. I love it. And then these are the stems of the chard. So, we don't need to waste anything. Just add all of this. And then what we do is just sweat it, until it's nice and tender, which means just to cook it at a kind of low temperature and just tend to it occasionally. This is the beginning of starting all the flavors for our soup. And of course, we'll season it with some salt and pepper. It's going to take probably about 10 minutes over medium-low heat. Okay, so this looks great. It's deflated a little bit. It's golden. It looks lovely. So what we're going to do now is add that roasted garlic paste that we squeezed from those cloves. Again, you can make this in advance. It's a good idea to cover it with some olive oil when you refrigerate it, though. All right, so we're just going to break that up and get that paste in there. And the other secret ingredient at the base of this soup is some Dijon mustard. And if your household isn't vegan, another awesome secret ingredient you could add in addition to these would be a Parmesan rind. So just like the rind of a wedge of Parmesan after you've, grated all of it, or, however it is that you eat Parmesan. Yum. So now we have this kind of delicious muck. A lot of my soups begin that way. But it will build beautiful flavor. So then we stir in everything else. These are pinto beans, but definitely cranberry beans would just be like next level Italian authenticity. Soaked overnight and drained. And then we add some rosemary. We add our remaining 2 sprigs, our can of tomatoes, and So we have all of these greens shredded. We have our Swiss chard, our lacinato kale. The Swiss chard stems already went in with the onion. The lacinato kale and our radicchio. Well, that we're going to add half of that right now, and then we're going to add the other half at the very end of cooking when we like work some more magic. So I'm going to add half of these, and we can just mix them all up. It's nice and pretty now, but it's all fine. It's just about half of all of them. And then we're just going to bring it to a boil. So this has been simmering for about 45 minutes to an hour. The beans are tender. I already checked. So we have this kind of middle step here. We remove it from heat. So I'm just going to turn this off. I add all the remaining greens. Well, I'll add the pasta first. You add the pasta and all the remaining greens with the heat off. This is just a cup of rotini pasta that has been broken up a little bit into smaller pieces. Again, mine, I use chickpea pasta, but you could use traditional if your family is not gluten-free. Or you could use chickpea even if you are. Lovely. And so I'm just adding the rest of these greens, kind of stirring them in as best as I can. It's obviously like a lot of greens for the pot, but they will wilt with the heat. And you just cover it and you set it aside for 20 minutes for that pasta to cook and these greens to wilt. And it gives a nice sort of fresh ending flavor and color to the soup. So I'm just going to, and make sure all of the pasta really is the most important thing to be submerged. So here we are, 20 minutes later. The greens have darkened. And I can see that pasta is cooked. And it's all nice and thick. All right. So I'm going to see if it needs any, if the broth needs anything. Really, I don't season this one with acid like the others, like a lemon juice or a cider vinegar. Mostly because I feel like, it has the tomatoes and that Dijon mustard. It's already kind of zingy. I don't want to overdo it. That is tastes like cozy winter to me. This recipe is on page 49 of my Soup Club cookbook. It's my first soup book. You can get it anywhere books are sold or at my local bookshop, booklarder.com, and a signed copy will be sent to you. I hope you join me here every week. New episodes are on Sundays at soupclubcookbook.com or on my YouTube channel, or you can find me on Instagram at Slurp Soup Club. Like, subscribe, and follow. Can't wait to see you next week. Bye.